Max Verstappen won the Drivers' Championship in 2024, while his teammate, Sergio Perez, only managed 8th place. Given that he and Max had the same car, you'd expect them to have similar results, and you certainly wouldn't expect the team whose driver won the Drivers' Championship to only place 3rd in the Constructors' Championship. With the rumors of Checo and Red Bull parting ways in 2025 now confirmed, my dad posed a very interesting question to me. When was the last time the driver who won the championship had a teammate who placed this poorly? Let's go on a journey together and find out. Welcome to Fiends, where the F1 never ends, just like the drama. Let's start this adventure by going through the historical Drivers' Championships, starting with 2023, and it's a Red Bull 1-2, with Verstappen scoring 587 points to Perez's 285. Checo only got 33% of his team's points for this season, but he still managed to get 2nd place in the Drivers' Championship, which is respectable. Moving on to 2022, and it's Max taking home 1st place with 454 points, while Checo took home 3rd place with 305 points, which is a whopping 40% of Red Bull's points for the season. Not bad, Checo. Not bad at all. In 2021, when Max Verstappen won his first Drivers' Championship, he did so with 395.5 points, while his teammate Sergio Perez was all the way down in 4th place with 190. But this wasn't Checo's worst season ever. He was instrumental in getting Max that first title, with Verstappen even saying on the radio that Checo was a legend. As we make our way to 2020, we are now firmly in the Mercedes years. Champion Lewis Hamilton took home 347 points, while his teammate Valtteri Bottas scored just 223, which was still 2nd place, even if it was only 39% of the team's points. For 2019, it's a similar story. Lewis took the ship with 413 points to Valtteri's 326. Bottas was still 2nd place with a solid 44% of his team's points for the season. 2018 wasn't so hot for Bottas, as he only managed 5th place with 247 points, while Hamilton dominated the pack with 408, a full 88 points over 2nd place Sebastian Vettel. But Bottas's share of Mercedes points was still 38%, a far cry from Perez's 26% in 2024. 2017 wasn't so rough for Bottas, with only Sebastian Vettel in between him and Lewis. This was Valtteri's first season with Mercedes after Nico Rosberg's shock retirement at the end of 2016. And Bottas didn't disappoint. He managed 305 points to Lewis's 363 for a whopping 46% of Mercedes points in his debut season. Not bad, Bottas. Not bad. 2016 was obviously a 1-2, with Nico Rosberg beating teammate Lewis Hamilton by just 5 points in the final race. It was a heck of a show, but we're not looking for who was the closest. We're looking for the largest gap between teammates. Let's move on. 2015 is also a 1-2, with Hamilton spanking Rosberg 381 to 322, a solid gap of 59 points. And if you think I'm being harsh, keep in mind, Nico Rosberg is a world champion. Valtteri and Lewis were never quite on the same level, so it's a different calculus. As we go back to 2014, it's even worse. Lewis wins 384 to 317, a 77-point spread. That means Lewis could have sat out 3 full races that Rosberg won and still taken home the ship. But honestly, this only makes Rosberg's win in 2016 that much more impressive. He really had to step up his game to win that WDC. But again, we're looking for the teammate who finished the furthest down the grid from their champion teammate. And this year was still a Mercedes 1-2. As we get to 2013, we're out of the Mercedes years and into the Vettel era. Mark Webber didn't place all that poorly compared to Seb, at least in terms of position. 2013 ended as a Red Bull 1-3, with Webber getting 199 points to Vettel's 397. That's almost double what Webber got. It's no wonder Webber retired after this. That's just rough. Not to mention, Red Bull made it pretty clear who their lead driver was. Moving on to my favorite season of all time, 2012. 7 different winners in the first 7 races. If you haven't seen this season, go back and watch it during the off season. It's so good. But not for Webber. Vettel won this season with 281 points, while Mark Webber was all the way down in 6th place, scoring only 179 points, just under 40% of his team's points for the season. Any other year, this wouldn't be a bad showing, but 2012 was so competitive that 40% of the champion's points wasn't even enough to break into the top 5. 2011 was much closer for the Red Bull boys with another 1-3. Once again, Webber took home 40% of his team's points for the season, but Sebastian Vettel absolutely dominated this year, taking home 392 points, which was still a full 122 points ahead of second place Jenson Button in the McLaren. 2010 was much closer. Another Red Bull 1-3, but Vettel only beat Webber by 14 points and second place Alonso by 4 points. Honestly, this one could have gone either way. 2009 was the fairy tale season for Brawn, but also it was the old points system. So comparisons to all of the seasons more recent than this won't be apples to apples. Jenson Button won with 95 points, while his teammate Rubens Barrichello took home third place with 77. Looks like we're gonna have to keep going. 2008 and close, but no cigar. Lewis Hamilton won with 98 points, whilst teammate Heikki Kovalainen was all the way down in 7th place with 53 points. But 7th isn't worse than 8th, so it looks like we're going to have to keep going. On to 2007. This was Raikkonen's lone championship, where he beat both McLarens by just a single point, whilst teammate Felipe Massa was down in 4th place, trailing by just 16 points. Nothing to see here. As we move on to 2006 and 2005, we have both of Alonso's championships with teammate Giancarlo Fisichella. In 06, they got a 1-4, and in 05, they got a 1-5. So we're going to have to move on to 2004. Now we're into the Ferrari dominance, and I doubt we're going to find a teammate all the way down the order, so let's breeze through it. Michael Schumacher and Rubens Barrichello finished 1st and 2nd in 04, 03, and 02. In 01, David Coulthard put himself between the boys in red, so Schumi and Barry were 1st and 3rd. 2000 was a little worse for Rubens as he finished in 4th place behind the McLarens of Hakkinen and Coulthard. I can't believe we're all the way back in 99, 25 years ago, and still we haven't found someone who's finished further down the grid than 8th place in the car that won the Drivers' Championship. But 99 was Mika Häkkinen's year, and his teammate David Coulthard finished in 4th place. 1998 was also Mika Häkkinen's year, and DC took 3rd place, with Schumi splitting the McLaren boys. First off, let me say, I wasn't expecting this video to be this long, but we're all the way down in 1997 when Schumacher got himself disqualified. And this was also the last time Canada had any reason to be proud of our F1 prowess. Jacques Villeneuve won for Williams, and his teammate Heinz-Harald Frentzen technically finished in 2nd place, but that would have been 3rd if the Michael had been a little less murdery. 1996 was also a Williams champion, but this time it was Damon Hill with 98 points, and teammate Jacques Villeneuve in 2nd with 78. Holy crap, we're at 1995. And we still haven't beaten this spread. Schumi won for Benetton, and teammate Johnny Herbert took 4th place with less than half his teammates' points. Benetton must have built a really good race car this year, because Johnny Herbert had just 31% of his team's points and still took 4th place. On to 1994, and this is it. The journey's over. We've finally found a driver who finished further down the grid than their champion teammate. And the answer is poetic. In 2024, Max Verstappen finished 1st place, whilst teammate Sergio Perez took 8th. But 30 years ago, when Michael Schumacher won the championship in a Benetton, his teammate only managed 10th place, scoring just 10 points to Schumacher's 92. That's less than 10% of his team's points for the season. And that driver was Jos Verstappen. Can you imagine if 30 years from now, we're all watching Checo Jr. take his 4th title and we're praising him as a generational talent? Because that's what Jos Verstappen did. He got absolutely embarrassed in Formula One, and he took those lessons and raised the greatest driver of this generation. In the last 30 years, nobody has done worse than Jos in a championship-capable car. Even Perez's worst seasons with Red Bull, he was over 20% of the team's points. Jos Verstappen couldn't even manage 10%. Frankly, I get it now. I understand where the old man's rage comes from. I can't even imagine what that kind of humiliation would do to a person. And if you want to see how we got here, why don't you watch my videos from after each race this season and watch the narrative unfurl as it happened? I'll see you there.